Hi, this is Mark the Meerkat from Grok Trade in the Grok Day Trading Chat Room with the 2020 year-end results from our chat room. And here they are. Are you ready? That's right, we were at plus 2,288.8%. Return on risk for the room for the entire year, and then our portfolio return was at 457.8% after calling 2,500 trades that we got into. All right, now let's break this down. Let's take our time and going to talk a little bit about, first of all, what are our key trading principles that we have in the Grok Day Trading Chat Room? What was our definitions for certain things? Then what's a typical day look like, and how do we measure our success each day? And then we're going to roll that up into how we measure our success for each week, roll that up to the quarter, and then we're going to look year to date. The year-end results here as to where those numbers I just shared with you, you'll know exactly where they came from, because every trade was recorded in the room each day of the year, exact entry and exits, as well as all the key measurements that we make throughout the year. So let's sit back and let's do that right now. So what are some of the key trading principles that we do here? Well, the first is we want you to trade what you see, not what you think or feel. That's a big one, because emotions while trading are going to kill your account. So we need to trade without a memory on the market as to what just happened, and without trying to predict what's going to happen. We're about odds and probabilities. The second one then is we want you to make those high probability entries. How do we do that? We do breakout and breakdowns from trading patterns. That puts the odds in our favor. Not certainty, but odds in our favor. And the third key trading principle here, and this is a big one, and that is we need to cut our losers short and let our winners run. What's that saying is, hey, when it doesn't go our way, when the odds and the probabilities go against us, we just get out as soon as we can. But if it's going in our direction, we want to suck out of it as much as we possibly can. And that's why we let our winners run while cutting our losers short. So those are the key trading principles here that we apply for every trade that we try to take in the Grok Day Trading Chat Room. So what does a typical day look like in the chat room? Well, we start off the morning like this. There's over 7,500 stocks and ETFs out there. We only trade stocks and ETFs. We don't do futures. We don't do options. And we developed this list. First of all, we do a broad market review here, and we do that, what's the markets doing worldwide. This happens to be from today that I'm recording this on January the 6th, 2021, and it was a big divergence in the market to start out the day. And then, where is oil? We don't do oil futures. We do an ETF on it, but, just knowing what market conditions we're walking into. Then we develop what we call a focus list. We scan through the 7,500 stocks using a couple of scanners. We do it together with the charts in front of us, and we pick out the prettiest charts of the day. These were the ones for this morning that we were going to focus on right when the market opened. And then we have a watch list. These are ones we're going to watch after the market opens. They're not quite as pretty, but we're going to watch them. And then here are these ETFs up the center here. These are typical pairings that we do. We do the bullish one is first, the bearish one is second. And so, for example, this is oil. Oil was moving big today, so the bullish one, if the oil is going up, you want to, just go long on the UCO when oil is going up. But when oil is falling, well, you could try to short the UCO, but what might happen is that you can't short it. There aren't any shorts available on UCO, or you are in a retirement money account and you can't short the market. So what you can do is you can buy the bearish ETF, and as the oil is dropping 1%, the USO goes up 3%. It's a leveraged ETF. So that's how you can be long the market, not short the market, but be short the actual commodity. So each of these list of the bullish one first, the bearish one second. Now in this case, the VIX was dropping dramatically this morning. The oil was on the move, and the small cap Russell was blowing the market. It was going way up, and then the financials were on a fire today. So that's the financial sector there, FAS, FAZ. So those were the ones that were highlighted this morning. We do that together before the market opens. Then the market opens and we start trading. At that point, this is listed up here as well as our log sheet. And here's a Here's the typical day log sheet here, and this is also showing, and I will call out a trade. I'll tell you where I'm set up and why I'm set up there, and then when it goes in that direction, I then call the trade. Now, as leader of the room, I have to call the trade and then get into it, so I can tell you where the area I want to get into, but I can't actually trigger the order until after I say I'm going long or I'm going short a particular stock. So that's just, as leader of the room, one of my restrictions. However, you can get in and tell everybody about it later. It doesn't really matter. So this was kind of a typical day here. Again, this is from December here. We ended up with a 6.7% net for the day, and I'll talk about our statistics in a moment. But again, I go long, and then when I'm in the trade, I'm telling you where my stops are and why I'm putting them there. And one of my trading rules is if it stalls at a major line of support or resistance, I'll take out a partial. So like here on this RAD trade, I took out half at 1%, and then it proceeded to drop, and I end up at minus 0.5 on that particular one. Yet, usually I'm in the, I get out half, and then the second half, it gives me an opportunity for the second half to grow. That principle of let your winners run. That's how we do that. This particular day didn't work out that well. But look at these. Some of the statistics we keep for the day then is our success rate. And this is part of our definitions. Success rate is the number of income trades versus your total number of trades, and our target for that is 60. Well, this particular day we were 80%. 8 out of the 10 trades I made money on. Then we also track how many errors I'm making. An error is where you do not follow your trading rules for entry, management, or exit of your trade. We want to follow our trading rules, not our emotions. We want to follow those rules, which we know that over time will make more money than we lose. Then there's a thing called your actual reward risk ratio. Now we have a projected reward risk ratio of 2 to 1. We have a 1% attached stop to every trade. As soon as I'm in, exactly 1% behind, 1% stop is in place. And then I have a 2% target. Now, I'm going to trade it, and it'll get as much out of it as I can, and it may make it to 2 or it may not. If it turns against me, I'm out with the maximum usually of about 1%, unless it jumps right over that, right? So anyway, here we have it. So 1.6 to 1 actual reward risk ratio, which would mean the average of all my income trades versus the average of all my expense trades on that day. So the one, so for each dollar average expense trade that I have, I want to make at least $1.60 average on my income trades. So in this particular day here, we are at 2.6 to 1. That's stronger than the 1.6 and even stronger than our stretch goal at 2.1. And so because of the 80% in that, we were able to make over our target of 5% that day, which was 6.7. Now another definition here, what does that mean? That's just simply the net of all of these trades added and subtracted here from our positive. That's just the percentage wise. We're not talking about any dollar amounts at this point. So that's a typical day. And then in the markets. Now this was happened to be here 12/17. This is one of the last weeks in the market there. It's just before Christmas time. Here's the 16th here. This day we only made 1.8%, but look at that. I had 11 trades that day. We typically make 10 to 12 trades in a day. 63% success rate, but just made about 1% on the day. I'm sorry, we made 1.8% on the day. But look at this, our actual reward risk ratio was only 0.9 to 7 to 1. So we did not make that 1.6. So that's why we did not make a lot of money that day. We just happened to make some. But prior day to that, we were at 10% at our stretch goal area, 10%. And look at, again, we had several, 1, 2, 3 trades over 2%. And then a 1% trade. So on this day we were at 77% success rate when this 4.6 to 1. So my average income trades were much larger than my average expense trade. That's how you make money in the long term. Do I make money on every trade? Absolutely not. Do I make money every day? Nope. This particular year we did make money every week that we traded this year. So that record is held intact, but not every day. It just doesn't happen. But a successful trading system was one that makes more money than it loses over time, not just in a day or a week. So that that's the results. Now, what does this 10.46% mean as far as our net for the day? Well, that's just percentage-wise. Now, in the room, there's two principles here. One is when you start thinking about money, emotions start getting triggered, and we want to trade without emotion, right? And the second thing is, your lot sizes and your account sizes are none of my business, and vice versa. So I am trading out of my live account, but so we just deal in percentages, and we all know how well we're doing or not. But what does that mean by dollars? So we have a thing called a model portfolio. In a model portfolio, if you are we trade the exact same dollar amount per trade. And so the model portfolio says that $10,000. You should build up to that over time, that you invest $10,000 in a trade. So if it's a $100 stock, you're buying 100 shares. If it's a $5 stock, you're buying 2,000 shares. If it's a $200 stock, you're buying 50 shares. And we have our platforms are set up to automatically size the number of shares. So you're buying $10,000 worth each time. And I have a 1% attached stop. Well, if that's true, in the model portfolio, what's the risk per trade? Again, definition of risk is the difference between your stop and your entry. So that would be $100. That's 1% of 10,000. So then for every 1% net that you make, then that would be $100. So on this day here, we made 10.4%. We made about $1,000 in the first 2 hours of the market on this day. So this was on the 15th of December. But my point is, and that's how we, if you need to put a dollar amount to it, well, then start thinking about, okay, that's for each 1%, that's $100 if you're trading that level. Now we have people in that, and I don't know what they're trading in that room, but I know where I'm trading at. But again, I don't share that. But we just have the model here so we can put a dollar amount to it. So that's the way that it works on a day-per-day basis. Well, then at the end of the week, we then roll that into weekly totals, and we have weekly targets for that as well. So let's take a look here. Here on the 18th, which was the last day of the week here, on that Friday here, this is that particular day. We made 3.3 on that day. I'm sorry, we made 1.1 percent, but only had 33% success rate. It wasn't a great day there, but we still made some money. So here's just a trade log for the week here, and again, our success rate is 66% for the week. Our target is 60%, right, as it is per day, and it is on the weekly basis. Now, as far as our income, we have a 5% target per day times 5, so our target for the week is 25%. 5% times 5. Stretch goal of 10% per day, 5 times that is 50% for the week. Well, where were we for this particular week, ending on 12/18? We were at 29%. That's so that we were over our target, and that equals about $2,900 if you're trading the $10,000 lot size. So that's just to give you an idea of a week that we would have here, and so that's where we measure that. So what was my lowest week of the year? We go back in time here. Let me see here. If I go back here to well, it was the week ending on 2/14. Our lowest week of the year was 1.99%, just under 2%, and only a 38% success rate. Now, caveat here: I left for a Holy Land pilgrimage on this day right here. I only traded for about a half an hour before I had to leave for the airport, and was gone for 2 weeks. But the day before that was just 0.7%. So but that was the lowest week of the year. So my point is, every day is a separate and unique event, and I trade the exact same trading rules. And that's the crazy part about it. So what about my biggest week of the year? Well, just a few weeks later, COVID hit, and my biggest week of the year was in March, ending March the 30th. I'm sorry, that's the week of March the 20th, ending March the 20th. Here's our week. Look at that. 117% was our biggest week of the year. A new record week for us on performance since I've been in the chat room for over 8 years now. So that we've been recording this. And, so 25% was our our target 50% stretch. We were at double the stretch goal. That was an incredible week. But you can see we had a day here. We were at 23% on Monday, 14, 18, 29, 30. Incredible day. So let's just look at, here's today. This is that Friday. This is that 31%. Look at the numbers for this week. This, again, this is not a typical day by any means. It was a record day, a record week for us here. Look at this. We had a 10% trade here, a 6% trade. Had an expense trade there. Then we had another, two and a 4% trade. Ended up with 31% net. Again, the statistics here. The 90% success rate, and our 31% net. And what was our actual reward risk ratio? Again, 2 to 1. This is outrageously good. 7.4 to 1. Yeah, that's why we had such a profitable day, and we were able to do that many days that week. So that was the best and the worst of the weeks here. Okay, now we have the Grok trade year recording of all of our trades for the year roll up here. Now we do it by quarter. Well, actually we do each week here. We add the week and the numbers that we added up, rolled up from the daily to the weekly, and now here to the annual, and then we have a number of trading days here. Number of trading days, our income trades, our expense trades. This is our success rate per week, and then we do add it up for the quarter. And then we have the actual return on percent return that we've had. And then if you have a $10,000 lot size, we accumulate how much that is dollar wise, and then for each quarter. And then over here we have it for the entire year as it progresses down. And then I have comments over here as to why I wasn't there that particular day, or we had a negative day on this day, and that type of thing. So let's take a look here at the first quarter results. Let's zoom in a little bit here. First of all, before we do the quarterly results, again, some of the assumptions are this is the dollar amounts on here are based on that $10,000 lot size. If you're trading $5,000 per lot size, well, then the dollar portions of this would be half of that, and proportionally whatever you're trading. And then we have minimum goals and stretch goals here, and our success rate, again, our target is 60%, and our stretch for that is 70. But again, it was a record year for us here. So COVID was good to the day trader. Why? Because it added volatility and movement in the market. It was also some of the worst of times because it was so choppy on some days and so volatile. It was tough to catch. For swing traders, obviously, it was horrible during the March and April because we would move hundreds of points a day. You'd get into a trade and then you'd be out on a swing trade basis. But for day trading, you can see what kind of results we got. Best ever for our chat room. All right, so let's take a look here at the first quarter, and again, we take a look here at the bottom as a summary for the first quarter. Traded 3.9 days. Again, I was out for 2 weeks during the first quarter on my pilgrimage to the Holy Lands, so I was able to call 509 trades. Those are trades that I called out and I got into. There's a lot of times where I call a trade, and I say, well, here I'm going to go long if it breaks this particular spot, and I'm either trading something else or it takes off, and because I have to call it after it breaks out, I don't want to chase it sometimes, and other times I do get into it. So these are the ones I actually called and I got into. So and now of those 336 were income trades, which gives us a 66% success rate. That's outstanding. It's way above our 60% target. Now, average weekly here, again, for the week, our target is what? Our target is 25%. We were averaging 40% per week on average. Look at this. Now, I had that 117 that we talked about, and then, but then again, I have a 0 in there too because I didn't trade. And if I'm not, there are other people who cover for me while I'm gone, but they do not count towards the statistics on the room. But clearly, we had a very, very good quarter. Then we move our way down here to second quarter, and similar, we have 64% success rate, and then we were at 45.9% average per week. Again, our target is 25. Our stretch goal is 50. That means we're almost averaging 50 every week here. We had a 70% week here. We had 50 and 50 here. If you look down this column, I mean, that's incredibly good. If you've seen some of my videos from the past, my year-end reviews, you'll see that these are incredible results for us. Now let's look at the third quarter here. And third quarter, 66.9% success rate. We only had 1 week where we were below the 60%. And then we've got 45% now we are averaging per week. And then we got our fourth quarter results coming up here. And now, and this week it was 63% there for the quarter, 41% average for each week. That's incredible. Now, let's go ahead and look at the end of year results here. This is all of those quarters summarized here. Traded 230 days this year. That's a little bit more than I normally do. Again, you have to take out the holidays. It's about 250 is a typical number of trading days available, because there's holidays, and then there's also vacation time where I'm off. Well, this year a lot of my vacations got cut off, except for my one trip in February, just before the coronavirus shut everything down. So been trading a little bit more than I typically do, but that's 4.3 average days that we traded for the year. And then again, 2,502 call trades that I got into, 1,630 that were income trades. That gives us a 65.1% success rate. That is a record for the chat room since I started it, and we've been keeping the statistics. Now, we have 2 errors that I made for this year, just 2. Yeah, that's 2,500 trades without an error and 2 trades with errors. So did pretty good this year on that. Now let's go over that cumulative net result. Was 2,288.8%. That's what I started this video out with. Well, again, that's net of all those trades, all the income and expense trades, the net of all of those. On average per day, we were at 9.9%. Average per day, 9.9%. And an average per week at 43% on average. So again, if you apply that $10,000 lot size to that 43, we end up with 4,300 average per week. And look at that's the $228,000 income if you're trading the $10,000 lot size. Wow. Now, that again is return on the risk. It all depends on what size of lot size that you're trading. If you were to get those, as far as the dollar amount on the other end. Again, if you were at, instead of $10,000 lot size, you're doing $5,000 lot sizes, well, then you'd be at $116,000 income instead of the 228. Now, let's talk portfolio return. The definition of a portfolio return is your opening balance and your difference between your opening balance and your closing balance divided into your opening balance. That's the definition. So if you started with $50,000 in your account and you made $228,000, then your portfolio return for the year was that 457% that I talked about at opening here. That's where that number comes from. So let's say, oh, Mark, I didn't have that. I had 100,000. Okay, great for you. Well, you still only made 228% then on your portfolio if you're trading the $10,000, right? Well, I started out with just 30,000, Mark. Ooh, doggy, 760% if you're trading the $10,000 lot sizes. So again, it's dependent. Those are all dependent on each other. What is your lot size? What was your opening balance? That would determine your portfolio return. So again, I talk about it here because that's what way people usually think about their return on investment. But I just want to look at it what from the income standpoint. That would be, here's the percent gain, and then just multiply that times whatever your lot size is, and the $10,000 lot size ends up being the $228,888. Not a bad job if you can get it. Now that's working 2 hours a day and trading $228,000. 30 days out of the year. So, would you like to join us in the Grok Day Trading Chat Room? You're more than welcome to. Go to groktrade.com, groktrade.com, and it says Day Trading Chat Room. And just click on it right there. Now, post it here later today then, instead of my second quarter results that I have here. I'll be putting this video in there. But you can read about our chat room. You're welcome to join us. Again, I trade the markets from 9:30 to about 11:30, but at 9 o'clock we start that search for those stocks that we're going to focus on when the market opens. And again, I will call my trades out. I'll tell you where I'm going to want to get in when I can, and then when I call the trade, then I get in. Then I'm telling you where my stop is and how I'm managing my stop and why I'm putting my stops where they are. And you have other people in the chat room also calling out stocks that are moving that weren't on our original list. You can join us on a monthly basis and just pay it on a per month basis, or you can go an annual, would you save, get 2 months for free. But either way you go, you have a 7-day risk-free trial. A 7-day risk-free trial. Try us for 7 days or 5 trading days. And if it works for you, stick it with us. And if not, it's been good to have you here. So this is Mark the Meerkat. In 2021, I want you to learn to trade well, let your winners run, and have it be your best trading year ever.